Hello, it's Heather from The Reading Mama. Today I'm going to share some of my middle grade March hopefuls. Now, if you don't know, middle grade March is something that there are 3 YouTubers who do it, and I don't remember all their names. I found out about it through Krista at Krista Books and Jams. I know there's on the middle shelf, I think, and then there's another, and I'm sorry, I will link them below. But middle grade March is about reading middle grade books in the month of March, and I love middle grade books. I'm a mama. That's part of why I read so much and so prolifically, is because I am pre-reading for my kids, and so I read a lot of middle grade books. And I want to share some of my middle grade hopefuls for you that are on my pile of possibilities, if you will, and some of what I'm going to use for each prompt. So bear with me. Okay, so I have several possibilities. Some of them are pre-reading for my kids. Some of them are just ones I want to read. Let's go through what the parameters are for middle grade March. So you could read just a middle grade book, any middle grade book, and you've done middle grade March. Great. They do have a book read along, which depending on my library availability, I'm going to join in, and that's Max and the House of Spies, which is kind of a magical realism set in World War II. You have a young Jewish boy, and he has some Jewish mythical creatures with him, and so that one sounds interesting. I love World War II fiction. Mythical creatures, magical realism is not my thing, so we'll see. But other 5 prompts are a book with books on it, one with siblings, a historical fiction, one with a name on the cover, and then one by a BIPOC author. So I have a few choices here. The hardest one is a BIPOC author, I think, just because I don't look into the background of my authors that often. Like, I'll read it and then look into the author. I don't usually like search what the nationality, race, or color of my authors are to choose a book. And so that one is a little like, but I do have some options. So I'll start with that one first. For BIPOC author, I was thinking of finishing up Tahereh Mafi's duology. I just listened to Furthermore, and then the next one is Whichwood. And it is like, the first book, Furthermore, is like an Alice in Wonderland retelling, and it's got a lot of magical and silly and just nonsensical things. Whichwood, I think, gets a little darker. So yeah, may or may not like that one. Also, I don't know if this author would count, but Anna Rose Johnson has some phenomenal books focusing on Indigenous people and people from Ojibwa tribe specifically. And so I believe she's part of that tribe, so that might count. I read her one book, and I don't remember what it's called. It's got a long name. The Star That Always Stays, which was a great middle grade novel set around World War I want to say. And I really enjoyed it. But I don't remember all the details about it. I'm sorry. But my kids and I are reading this one aloud right now. This is The Luminous Life of Lucy Landry. And Lucy Landry is an orphan, and she's going to live with a family who lives in a lighthouse. She's always been a single child whose mother died when she was born, and her father was off on the Great Lakes often as a sailor. And so she was kind of, queen bee for a long time, and now she's in a big family on a small island. She's afraid of water, and she's trying to solve a mystery, and my kids love this. We are reading it really slow, and so we only do like a chapter a week, and they are always begging for more. They love the story of Lucy Landry. They love the family of the Martin family, and there's little nuggets of faith built in there, little nuggets of the Ojibwa tribes built in there, and we are just really enjoying it. Another book that I might read by Anna Rose Johnson, same author, is The Blossoming Summer, and this just came out this year, so I don't really know much about it other than it's by that author, and we've loved it. So this is set in 1940. England is all Rosemary has ever known, but World War II has begun, and the German front rolls ever closer. With France conquered, she, her parents, and her little brothers flee to America to escape the coming Blitz. Her grandmother's house in northern Wisconsin is safe but unfamiliar. So yeah, this is going to be totally different. So I'm excited to read that. That is one of my hopefuls, and this would be for my BIPOC option. Then I have a book with books on it. You would think this would be really easy. You could do like Book Wanderers. That would be a great middle grade read if you haven't read it yet, where they travel inside the books. But I think mine is going to be this, which is The Book of Three by Lloyd Alexander. Creepy picture, creepy cover. I don't know much about it other than it's a popular middle grade fantasy set in kind of medieval times. And so I was reading it to pre-read for before I give it to my kids, mostly because that picture is creepy. Then I don't actually have any others with book in them, unless that person's holding a book. I'm not sure. Other things are historical fiction. So I have a lot of choices for historical fiction, but I'm going to go with A Son of Charlemagne, which is a pre-read for my kids' school. And so I need to read this one. So hopefully I'll do that. I have lots of other options for middle grade. Historical fiction, I feel like, is the easiest one to get. So you could do that. This, I don't know if it would be considered really historical fiction. This is really more fantasy, but 3 Tasks for a Dragon by Owen, maybe Colfer? Ian Colfer, I think is maybe how you say it. And this is just a fun little fantasy story, but it's going along with our medieval studies. And so I was going to pre-read it for my 3rd, 4th grader for next year. Next up, was one with a name on it. I have several options here. So I have Mrs. Frisby and the Rants of NIMH, which I have not read since I was a little kid. And so, yeah, so that is on my list of ones to read. Other ones would be The Outsiders, Ruth, a retelling. This is also a pre-read for my 3rd grader for next year. She'll be in 3rd grade. And it's a retelling of Ruth. So you've got the name there. And it's a biblical retelling. So that sounds fun. And then also I have Harlow Morgan and the Sky City, which is by Lindsay Llewellyn, who I absolutely loved her YA fantasy, dystopian fantasy, sci-fi, whatever you want to call it, Chaos Grid and The Crierstone. But this is a steampunk, I believe. Yeah, steampunk fantasy. It says Harlow Morgan, airship pilot, trouble magnet, possibly glowing. Airship pilot in training, Harlow Morgan is a whiz in the sky, but her father's disappointment on the ground. I'm not going to read anymore because you can read up the snippets about it, but I have absolutely loved this author. And so I am excited to dig into another book by her. And this is one of her middle grade novels, and it's book 1. So those are the ones with names on it. Let's see here. Then books with siblings. So I have first up A Wrinkle in Time. I was hoping to reread this, but then I also realized I got this for my kids for Christmas and I haven't read it yet, and 2 of my kids have, and I would really love to continue this. And I know that Helmer, this is part of the prequel for the Green Ember series, and Helmer has siblings, so I'm sure that that will come up because family is a big part of the Green Ember story. And so that goes without saying. Another book I'm hoping to read maybe in Middlegrade March is this, the Dreamkeepers Saga, one of the very first book in the series. I love fantasy, I love dragons, and my oldest read this a long time ago and really enjoyed it, and I just have never gotten around to it. So those are my middle grade March titles. Again, they're keeping it really simple this year with just 5 prompts and a buddy read along. So there are so many great options out there. If you have some other suggestions, or you know what you're going to be reading for middle grade March, drop it below. Let's be a wealth of book titles to help people find the titles they're looking for. If you have read any of these and you have some encouragement to read them, say, oh, there's some content, you might not want that, let me know. Most of them I feel are pretty safe. But middle grade, remember, we're getting anywhere from upper elementary through middle school is what we're thinking here is the reading level. And that will vary by kid for age. And the point is that we want it to be clean. We want it to be sweet, and we want it to be fun. Nothing that is going to be too intense or too graphic, because yeah. And now I'm not saying it can't have serious things, because like, you know, what am I thinking of? That's middle grade. You know, the one with the dogs. You know what I'm talking about. Old Yeller, the other one with the dogs and the boy. I can't think of what it's called. Where the red fern grows. They're intense, right? They're intense, but they're for middle grade and they're good. Bridge to Terabithia, middle grade, intense, still really good. You have to know your child. If you're reading for kids, know their sensitivity levels. If you're an adult, know your own sensitivity levels and check for those content considerations. But in general, I say a middle grade book should have no swearing, and it should not be too dark and demonic that it will terrify the child, and it should not be so violently graphic that it will give the child nightmares. It should be still fun, adventurous, intense, all of those things. But, you know, they are for those middle grade years. So be forewarned. And yeah, thanks for watching. Have a blessed day.